Hi, this is The Greatest Story Ever Played. I'm Dan.
I'm Jordan.
And today we're going to be talking about the last episode of The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, called From the Gallows.
Yep. So, walkers flood the New Frontier camp, leaving Javier, Clementine, and their allies in a tight spot. Tensions within the Garcia family rise to a boiling point, past promises looming over your head, who will you choose to trust, and who to protect. In From the Gallows, the epic finale of The Walking Dead, A New Frontier, you'll find out just how heavy the consequences of your actions can be.
All right. And this episode begins really how it feels like almost every episode of A New Frontier has begun.
Flashback.
Flashback, yes, exactly. Yeah, it's funny that they really started each episode.
They did, yeah. All of them did do that, I'm pretty sure.
I'm pretty sure. So, flashback, again, pre-apocalypse. And you've got Javi, David, and their dad playing dominoes. And while you're playing, David ends up winning, and Javi is broke. So Javi's dad agrees to pay for Javi so that they can keep playing. You know, David's like, double or nothing, or do you not have any cash? Like, he's being a bit of a dick.
Yeah. This is after Javier lost his baseball career, though, right? Mm-hmm. So, I'd be kind of pissed, too. Like, dude, you threw away everything just to fucking gamble. You're not even good at gambling, clearly.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, and so the family is in that aftermath. Javi's no longer allowed in professional baseball, all that stuff. And Javi goes to his dad's wallet to get the money, and he finds a piece of paper, and he's like, ooh, what's this, Dad? And David's like, yoink, and brings it out, and they're upset because it's a hospital visit where their dad found out that he had cancer, but, he's been playing dominoes all night with his kids, and he doesn't tell them. Mm-hmm. So they confront him, and they're like, what the hell, Dad? Like, how could you do this? And as Javi, you have an option to match David's aggression, or I would say be kinder. Mm-hmm. I imagine we both chose the kinder route.
Hell no, dude. I was super mean. I went the kinder route. It seemed like this dude's got cancer. Come on, we don't need to berate him either. Right,
yeah. I felt like the route I took was kind of like, I pushed him, but I was like, I support you, you're my dad, sort of thing. And their dad reveals that he actually turned down the treatment. He says, that's too much money. I don't want to saddle everyone with bills to live 3 more months or something like that. And he also is like, don't tell your mother about this. And they're like, what? You haven't told Mom? Yeah, and that was
not cool.
Yeah, that was where I was most forceful with being Javi. I was like, you gotta tell her. Like, I won't tell her for you. The subtext to me felt like, unless you make me. Yeah. But, like, you gotta tell her. Like, you can't just secretly die.
You can't hide terminal cancer from your fucking wife.
Yeah.
Dude, come on. Yeah, I mean, as painful as it would be to say that, it's going to be way more painful if she finds out you didn't tell her for 4 months or 5 months.
Right.
Then you just die.
Right. Or, like, just start seeing it happening to you.
Yeah, you're like, what's happening to you? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm fine.
Right, yeah. So, and he seemed to consider that push. I think he felt a little more willing to that. And so I felt like I could get down with that. It's like, if you don't want treatment for those reasons, I could understand that. But, like, you got to be honest with your family. They need to know. Yep. Then, I don't know. Through this experience, I think the family does get a little more on the same page. And so David goes to grab some more beers for us. And his dad talks to Javi while they're alone. And it's like, you need to do whatever you can to be a big brother. Promise me that, once I'm gone, you're going to be a big brother. Or a good brother. He's your big brother, but you guys need each other. And he even expresses some, I think, regret, I guess, that his worst qualities are exemplified in his sons. In that a hothead jerk like David, that was what their dad, I guess, was like. And then also a good-looking gambler like Javi, which I thought was funny.
A sexy gambler.
Yeah.
What are you going to be for Halloween this year?
Right.
Be a sexy gambler.
Right. Gay Javi Garcia.
Yeah.
Yeah. Great. But it's funny, expressing this kind of regret, but he's like, you guys have to work together. Like, family is the most important thing. You need to be brothers no matter what, as much as you can, kind of thing. And I was like, yeah, I'll do that. Like, brothers.
Yep. I agreed to that promise, which it's kind of similar vein of like other flashbacks. I think in almost everyone, there's some kind of like push or like decision, like will I be there for David or not?
Right.
So I've continued to be like, yes.
Yep. What kind of person will you be? Will you prioritize family? That sort of thing.
Yeah.
So that's our flashback. We then pick up in the present, which was Richmond getting fucked by the zombies.
Fucking chaos.
Yeah, total chaos is going. Walkers are pouring in. Kate's truck that she'd had hit the wall, made a breach. It came in. Also, they were getting ready to hang David, if you remember from last time. So
yeah.
It was pretty wild, and that scene is still wild. So Javi runs up to the truck to try to find Kate, and she's not in there. No body, no Walker Kate. Where is she? So Javi keeps going. He ends up finding David, and together they start looking for Kate. And in the chaos, some walkers come at Javi and David, and Kate ends up saving them, which was fun. She got her kind of hero moment. Mm-hmm. They then find Clementine and Gabe and run away together inside of a building. The streets have gotten really bad, as we said. There's chaos. Townspeople are just getting eaten by walkers. There's dead townspeople who got shot in shootouts as this was going. It's bad. Yeah, it's a bad scene.
It's pure chaos. Like, imagine the scene, or a scene where what you picture when there's a zombie apocalypse and a town's overrun. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. And even too, that because of the hole in the wall, it's all funneling from one place. So it's I think that it just makes it almost, in some sense, easier for the walkers to go in because there's just one way. Mm-hmm. There's all.
They just go straight.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just pouring in. So, Richmond doesn't belong to people anymore. It's this. Inside the building, they go upstairs, and they find Eleanor treating people, injured people. So she's trying to do what she can to help in the aftermath of this. And one of the people she's treating, is kind of in shock. But then she pulls a gun on Javi and says, "This all happened because you got here. Richmond was fine before you and your stupid family showed up."
Yeah. And then, you didn't kill Joan last episode, did you?
No.
I did. She mentioned that in mine. She's
okay.
More ammunition for the
okay, so
me
she
being
says,
the cause.
"You killed Joan."
Yeah.
Okay.
It's worse.
No, yeah.
But I still didn't regret it.
Yeah, Joan seems like someone who still needed to be killed. So
I think she would have died anyway.
Yeah.
I assume.
But, she kind of berates you and then pulls a gun on you.
Yeah.
So it really escalates, and you're kind of like, okay, calm down, sort of thing. But then Kate steps in front of you and defends you and tries to talk the woman down. And it's like, this isn't going to help anything. We didn't want the walls to come down. Blah, blah, blah. And I think is gaining some ground. The woman seems a little less resolved to shoot.
Yeah, to just shoot you in the face.
Yeah, but as she starts to lower her weapon, David steps in, breaks her arm, and disarms her.
Yeah.
And is ready to kill her. He's got the gun pointed at her. He's ready to do it. And Gabe tries to grab him to get him to stop. David kind of shrugs back and hits Gabe in the face, and he's like, "Oh my god, I didn't mean to hit you."
Terrible.
Yeah, and that's sort of the David wakes up in that moment of I'm trying to protect my family so much I hurt them kind of thing, which I think is probably a lesson he's learned a lot, but here it is again.
Yeah, I would assume that this is not the first. I mean, maybe the first time that he's disarmed someone by breaking their arm and saving Javier from getting shot and then hitting Gabe in the face, but I'm sure there's been other times where he's been an asshole and it's just hurt people.
Yeah, totally agree. So from here, this kind of wake up moment, David leaves. He's like, "All right, I'm going to go on the roof and kind of be away and think about this." And everyone else is kind of trying to pick up the pieces, figure stuff out. But you're like, "I'm going to go talk to my brother. Let's see if we can kind of get on the same page after that." And you get up there, and David's standing on the ledge of the building. I don't think he was going to jump, but I think some people could think that.
Yeah, I think
upon getting up there.
Yeah, I think they make it a potential question mark.
Right. And he's talking about how he was never good at being a dad. He was never be good at being family. And he talks about the city and what he sees, and he's describing all of these military things. Of, you could put a watchtower here, you could do this. This is how you could clear the city, blah, blah, blah. And this is where your first choice comes up, which is, do you get up on the ledge with him or not?
Do you jump off with him?
Jump off. Yeah.
Chapter over. Yeah.
Yeah, the end. No, get up on the ledge with him. This one, unfortunately, is one of the Telltale decisions that I don't think really worked.
Yep.
93% of people got up there, including both of us. 7% of people didn't, and David's bummed out about that. So, why'd you go up there?
I don't really have a real reason other than, like, why not? You know? I mean, I was, like, pissed at him for, like, the shit downstairs, but, like, I don't know. Like, it doesn't seem like... Yeah, it's just, again, it wasn't a real decision. Like, there was no risk, I felt like, in going up there.
Yeah.
So, that was kind of... My thought process was, one, I want to be there, and then two, like, why not do it? You know? Mm-hmm. It's like you're going to... I don't think you're going to kill yourself here if I don't go up there. So, I don't know. It just seemed like an inconsequential choice on my part.
Yeah, I felt similarly. I wasn't worried that he would hurt himself or me in that. But it did feel like a way to show you care. Mm-hmm. And like, hey, I want to hear what you have to say. We're still brothers. Kind of thing that, you know, that didn't make us not brothers. And so I felt like that was worth showing. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I feel like that probably as much as that. Just show you support. Jacob on Twitter said, yes, I sympathized with him. So, again, I think with the majority where I think it made sense to come alongside him. Unless you hate David, at this point, I think it made sense to do, for sure.
I feel like the decision should have been, do you go up to talk to David on the roof, or do you stay down there and like deal with the aftermath? That would have been probably a better decision. I feel like it would have been more 70-30, something like that.
Yeah, I think that would have been split, because then, you know, you could... What if it was like, you know, Gabe got a bloody nose or something like that, and so it's like, do you help Kate with Gabe, or do you go up and see David?
Yeah.
Like, I think that would have been a better decision. I agree. I think that would have got a little more split.
And I should make games.
Yeah.
Yep.
From here, after talking with David, Clementine, Kate, Gabe, and Ava arrive on the roof here. If in the case that Tripp wasn't killed, for both of us, Tripp died. But if Ava died instead, it would be Tripp here who comes up. And they plan on leaving Richmond because they want to go out and find a large vehicle to be able to block the hole in the wall with. Because that will keep walkers from coming in, and then you can kill all the walkers inside. And, I don't know, fix the town.
I forget. So is the truck, the van, whatever that Kate used to make the hole, is that like... That's like blown up, right?
Yeah, it did explode.
Okay, I was going to say, why don't you just block it with that? But
yeah.
Because that's what made the hole, so I assume it's
the right
big-ish enough to fit right in the hole.
Yeah, well, and it was even sort of in the hole, wasn't it? Or did it go through?
I thought it didn't go through. I assume it's near the hole. So that's another reason. Like, put it in neutral and push it.
Yeah.
But I guess there's probably a trillion walkers right by it, so maybe that's the deterrent. Yeah. I don't know. It's one of those, like, you know.
Maybe the thought is if you went from the outside of the wall and, like, went in front of it, and then you have kind of two cars.
That could work.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way, though, it does seem like you could probably do that. Like, I mean, you'd have to... I guess there's a lot of walkers to deal with at that point. So maybe pushing it neutral would still be really hard, because you'd have to have enough people fighting around you. But it does seem like... Yeah, you have to slow that coming in, because, you know, even if there's 1,000 walkers in there, you could kill them all if you knew no more were coming in.
Yeah.
Like, you could.
At that point, it would make sense to try that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess one of those, like, you know, why not? This seems like the easier route, but whatever.
Mm-hmm. I guess if they would have done that right away, though, like when the chaos was going on, if people had the foresight to just push it in there, it could have probably at least slowed it down.
Problems 80% solved.
Yeah, because even if only one at a time could come through, maybe you could put someone there to just kill enough that
it would make a walker wall.
Yeah, make a walker wall or something.
Yeah.
So
it's a pretty good temporary solution.
Yeah, it seems like that probably would have been smart.
Yeah, you think you'd have some kind of contingency plan in place, like if there's ever a hole in the wall big enough for walkers to get through, this is what we do.
Right, we all charge. Your job is walker containment, your job is pushing.
Yeah, you'd think you'd have something on standby to block the hole.
Yeah, that's smart. You should. I feel like if you're in a settlement, you should have a plan like that.
Yeah.
And I don't know, even beyond the leaders, like the 4 leaders in this community, like there should be, I don't know, 10 other people who are key people who also run that, and they each have teams of however many people. And it's like, this is what we do. When this happens, your job is to lure walkers this way and kill them. Your job is to go outside and kill them.
Yeah, we're like
whatever.
Team stab the walkers in the face as they come through the hole. Like
your team neutral and push. Whatever.
Yeah. NNP.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
No, that's smart. I think that should be a thing. But our crew's on the road. We leave. And we managed to get up on the highway. There's kind of a highway system that's near the city. And so the building we're on was pretty high, and we're able to kind of, I think, walk across like 1 or 2 things, but we're able to just get on the highway pretty easily. Mm-hmm. So we start following the highway. And it's sort of your classic wrecked highway in a zombie movie. That, there's just crash cars everywhere, everything's stuck, and you're walking across. And as you're walking across, there's a part where there's a huge car pile up, and the only place you can cross is right by this ledge of the highway that... it's one of those like freeway systems that are, stories above. It's not like all on the ground.
Yeah.
It's
on big concrete columns.
Yeah.
An overpass, but it's just an actual freeway type thing.
Yeah, it's huge. Like what I think cities like Los Angeles have, like really large cities.
Yeah, you got like multi-tiered.
Yeah.
Shit. Yeah.
Multi-tiered kind of wild highways. And that's what this one is. And there's a part though where they have to kind of slink across this like short ledge, and so each of them go one at a time, and there's a part where I think half of the group makes it across, or almost all of it. Then Javi goes, and he kind of slides, and Ava holds out her hand and steadies him, and then Javi's able to keep going. Ava's the last one up, and she starts to go. And then a walker inside the car surprise attacks her and like jumps on her, and they both fall off of this like 3-story highway.
So dead.
Before this, also Ava did kind of forgive you for not choosing her. She's like, "Well, I guess I'm glad I'm alive."
Yeah,
kind of thing.
Yeah, you have like a reconciliation moment.
Yeah, you're at least not on bad terms when she dies.
Yeah, she's still probably not happy with you that you picked her to die, but...
Right. But her time is short. The walker kills her. David mourns her for a minute. Then they get to a part where the highway is broken basically in half. There's a big gap that is, I don't know, 40 or 50 feet probably. But there's a crashed helicopter on it. And they kind of realized that the way that they could get across is if they swung on the helicopter blade that would glide them over the hole and over. Which, yeah, I guess so.
You gotta do something, you gotta do it.
Yeah. And so they start doing it smallest to biggest. So Gabe goes, Clementine goes, Kate then, and then it's you or David. And also, as you get there, some walkers start coming towards you, so you got to be kind of quick about it.
Yep. Of course, it's more urgent than just taking your time.
Yep. And so you have, I think you can choose who goes, but I had David go across, and then I went last. Mm-hmm. Is that what you did too? Yep. So we do it. We make it across here. A note here is this is where Trip dies if you spared him instead of Ava.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So Ava...
Does he go last or something?
It breaks before he goes. So I think if you have David go, then Javi goes and it breaks.
Oh, when Javi goes?
Yeah.
So Trip is stuck there?
Stuck on the other side.
So he gets eaten or something?
Yeah, and you hear him fighting off walkers, and then he goes down.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah. So...
I feel like Kate or Ava died better. Probably quicker.
Yeah. Yeah, I think she probably got a preferred death.
Yep.
To get.
Falling to your death over getting eaten alive. Take that any day.
Mm-hmm. But Trip goes here. Also, I think for, just as a call out for these dying here, I think that my wish for last time, if both of them would have got killed, would have been worth it based on what we got here from them.
Yeah, they essentially throw away for a fourth of an episode max?
Yeah, so I feel like me not making a choice should have made them both die when I didn't try to choose last time, and then I remembered. Then I was like, oh, okay.
Or they both live, and then they die here.
Yeah.
Because either way, you're like, well, I didn't pick anything, so...
Yeah, I kind of wish that would have worked
complain.
since they both died so quickly.
Yeah.
You know, they weren't that involved in this episode.
Mm-hmm.
But either way, unfortunately, they're both dead. We did cross the highway. And we arrive at this construction site, but there are tons of walkers all over. So Javi puts on the gourmaflage. He wears the walker guts.
Yeah.
To go and turn on a generator down there as a distraction, because the generator will make noise, all the walkers will go to it, and then they'll be able to go into the garage to get a good vehicle. So they do that. They also find out about the gourmaflage from Clementine. She's like, oh, if you wear walker guts, you can like get through. And for whatever reason, I guess because you're the main player in the game, Javi has to do it.
Of course. Well, well, it'd be stupid if Kate did it and then just did some stuff and you were waiting there.
Yeah.
All right, been 2 hours. Let's do our thing.
Yeah, it makes sense that as a game you have to do it, but it was kind of funny that you just had to do it.
Like, yeah, or like, why didn't Clem do it? She's done it before.
Right. Yeah, it seems like that would have made sense to have Clem be like, I know this is gross, this is what I'm going to do.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
But they do it. Harvey does it. Distraction works. And our crew gets inside the garage. And now it's kind of time to game plan again as to what are we going to do. We've got these vehicles. And David wants to ditch Richmond at this point. He says, I've got all I ever wanted. I got my family together. Fuck Richmond. You know, they're about to hang me.
Yeah, that's fair.
Which, is fair.
Like, yep. I would also want to leave them to die, too, probably.
Yeah, and so he's like, I don't feel responsible for them. I've got the thing we always wanted. Let's just go. Kate, on the other hand, wants to help Richmond. I think she feels compassion for people at large. You know, there are people, you know, Joan and stuff are bad, but there are people that live there that aren't bad, and we can't just let them die. We were a part of this problem, you know, like, we might not be the whole problem, like that lady said earlier, but we were part of the problem.
And especially her, I mean, she was the one that broke the van into the wall or whatever. Like, she caused this, and like the most immediate problem with the walkers coming in.
Yeah, and I think
I guess it wasn't her, it was the guy that threw the Molotov cocktail at her.
But
yeah, 50% her fault at least.
Yeah, and I think she feels responsibility in that way, too.
Yep.
If her car didn't go through it, if they came in a different way, maybe she wouldn't feel that responsibility, but that certainly ups it. I agree.
Yep.
And Gabe says he's with David. That I agree with Dad. Let's just go, like, we can figure it out, kind of thing. And Javi and Clementine are more Team Kate here in this, and they're like,
yeah,
no, we should, like, do the right thing. This is what we came here to do. Like, I don't think we should just audible because the opportunity is available.
Yep.
Which is what David's doing, because they did all agree that they would come out here to help, and David's kind of changing his mind midway through.
Yep. I forget, do you have a choice here to be like, no, Kate, that's a dumb plan. Let's just leave? I didn't do that because I guess my ideal world was like convince David to not be a douche and help. But
that was my hope too. I don't think you can. You might be able to, but
it's kind of surprising.
Yeah, you might be able to. I guess you probably can based on what happens next.
Yeah.
I think you're right, and we just probably both didn't do it. Then, in the midst of this conversation, David has a great move, and he says, "That's an order, family," which
yeah,
no one likes.
All right, I'm not going with you.
Yeah, that really gets everyone on the fuck you train. And Kate dumps him then and there, and is like, "I'm over you. You suck, and." You know, you can't we're your family, we're not your soldiers, you can't treat us like that.
Yeah.
I'm going to do what's right, even if you don't think that, kind of thing.
Yep. So then at this point, like, Kate makes some statement about, like, I don't know, like, loving you and loving David, and, you know, it's kind of complicated. I forget the exact setup for this.
Was it something like, I was a fool for loving either of you?
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, she makes some comment, like, kind of throws us under the bus, too. And we're like, what? Whoa. Mm-hmm. So, how we played the game, we, never moved towards Kate. But anyway, at this point, David's like, what the fuck, dude? He's pissed.
Mm-hmm.
Art, and, makes sense. So you can, like, respond to David, and you can either confess your love to Kate, or for Kate to David. Mm-hmm. You can just say, yep, we're, like, a thing. You can say, no, I've never been into her, maybe she's into me, whatever. Or you can just sit there in silence. So what did you do?
So denied it because, as we've both played,
Yep.
We didn't play it that way.
Yep.
So, yeah, I denied it. David, though, did not believe me.
Yep, same. Yep. So 55% of people confess love for Kate. I wonder if that's... So even if you've been anti-Kate, the whole game, I wonder if at this point you can be like, no, I do love you.
I think so. All the options came up for me, so I guess I could.
Yeah.
Imagine Kate would be kind of caught off guard.
Probably.
Last episode I said, nah.
Yeah, but it's funny they give you a choice here for that. 29% of people, like, I guess you can be like, yep, me and Kate have been a thing. 15% of players, which we did, you deny having a relationship, and then 1%, so just quiet.
Yeah.
So yeah, David gets pissed, and then he attacks you.
Yeah. I think that we've said this a few times through this game, but it really seems like they should have either made the Kate stuff actually be more optional than it was, or made it just, you're with Kate and you have to deal with that.
Yep. I agree, because this is almost unfair. Like,
yeah.
So at this point in the game, it's almost the end, and it kind of throws out anything that's happened with Kate, right? Because it gives you 3 options. One, if you've denied it up until now, you can just be like, no, I actually do like you, and then whatever. Mm-hmm. You can complain about it if you've had a relationship or not, which I guess even here you could lie about it. You could not be in a relationship with her and then say, yeah, we have been. Mm-hmm. Or you can deny it, which is the same result no matter what.
Yeah.
So it's almost kind of like a waste.
Yeah, it's kind of strange. I mean, like, David's response, I can understand, like, especially his character.
Yes.
This is totally what he'd do. He'd be like, wait a minute, you've been with my wife? And you're like, no, I haven't. But, he's not going to listen either way.
You're seeing red.
Yeah, he's seeing red. And this is exactly what happens here. He freaks out, and he starts attacking Javi, starts punching him. And this episode, actually, too, you'll see this, is the decisions come like boom, boom, boom. Yep. They probably all happen in like 1/3 of the game. Mm-hmm. But David freaks out, he starts beating the shit out of you, and your next choice is, are you going to fight David back or not? And so it happens in a sequence of 3, I think, where he like punches you, and then your option is fight back or I love you, brother. Mm-hmm. And same thing again, and then one more time. And you can choose to either fight David at this point or tell him that you love him, that you're his brother. And so what did you do?
I went the route of saying that I loved him because, one, like, that's how I played this whole game. 2, I don't agree. Like, he's rash and nuts, but like I understand. If I had a brother and thought he was getting with my wife, I'd be fucking. I'd be livid. And I don't know if I'd try to kill them or fight them, but I understand his emotion and what we know about David. This is what he would do. Yeah. So part of me was like, I want to calm you down, and like, I'm still going to be a good brother regardless of how you're treating me. Now, if you had a gun on me and were trying to kill me, I don't think I would react this way. I might, somehow try to disarm you, but like, it didn't seem like he was going to necessarily kill Javi at that point. I guess it could have escalated there, but that was kind of my thought. Was like, I don't feel like I'm in more mortal danger yet, so I'm gonna keep trying to like express like I'm still on your side. This is not true. Yep, that was my thought.
Yeah, same. I don't want to fight you. I didn't do anything wrong. You think I did it, and I'll forgive you for this afterwards. Mm-hmm. But and I understand how you got here. But
yeah. It's not true.
Yeah, kind of thing.
At least in our case, it definitely was not true. So.
Yeah, I don't know if I'd fight back if I did it either.
Yeah, I guess it's tough to say because
Because I'd be like, you're mad at me, and I get it. Like,
Yeah. But
unless I'd come to clean to him in an earlier episode.
That's
Which
true.
I guess if I did that, I would tell him the truth.
Yeah.
Right when I got to Richmond, be like, hey man, I know this is pretty weird, but all these years we thought you were dead, and so Kate and I are together now. We'll figure this out. She gets to make her own choices, obviously. And we'll figure that out. Like, I think that's what I would say if I was with Kate and if I had that option a few episodes ago.
Don't you get one chance?
I think so when you first meet him and you're walking on the streets, right?
Yeah, I forget the context. No, I feel like there's one time too where you're like in a. Is it when you're in like the locker room jail?
Yeah, I think that's it.
And I forget if you actually get a chance or if you get interrupted. I mean, obviously we had nothing to confess, so.
Right.
But I wonder how that would. Obviously, that wouldn't affect this. But like, if you do confess, why would he still be like, what?
Yeah, I guess you can't. It must be like you said, when you try to come clean, it can't happen.
Yeah.
And so then, here's your final chance to come clean, and he either freaks out on you for it, or you're like us and you didn't do anything, and he still gets mad because he thinks so.
Yeah, so it's just the same result.
Yeah,
It is kind of this is the one thing I think, and well, whatever.
I think not Kate, but David's actions here, it all makes sense. I get it. But yeah, story-wise, I think that
I'd
better to be a little different.
Not a big fan of this plot line, and how it developed.
Yep. But 62% of people were like us and said we left our brother while he beat us up.
Which is kind of surprising.
Yeah, I was surprised by that too. 38% of people, though, fought back against David. Callum on Twitter wrote in and said, no, I didn't fight back.
Mm-hmm. And then Joel on Twitter said, no.
Yeah, so...
like 4 O's.
Yeah, so also didn't fight back.
Yep.
So, same as us here. This fight ultimately gets stopped because Clementine pulls a gun on David and stops the fight. Once David's hit us a few times, it's like, oh, maybe he will kill us. So Clementine steps in and is like, you're done. Kind of thing.
Did Clementine shoot him in your game?
No.
She killed him in mine.
What?
I'm kidding.
I was like, that can't be real.
No, she just pulled a gun on him.
Yeah, she pulls a gun on him, and that kind of wakes David up and is like, oh.
Yeah, I'm seeing red here.
Yeah. Also, this stupid fight has brought all the walkers over that were distracted. And so this kind of creates chaos for our people. Kate, Clem, and Javi run back into the garage. David and Gabe get in the car and bolt. A different car. There was like a van and then also the big vehicle. And
it's good they didn't take the big one.
Yeah.
That was such a dick move. Like, all right, well, we're going to leave and fuck Richmond at the same time.
Yeah. David had more time to think. He probably would choose that.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, probably.
Since he's been an asshole.
Yep.
But David and Gabe drive off in the van. And so this kind of takes us to our next kind of two-part decision. So do you want to set up the first part?
Sure, yeah. So at this point, you have to choose, like, because Kate and Clementine, well, I guess mostly just Kate. Clementine, kind of will do her own thing, as we'll see. But Kate wants to go back and, again, help Richmond, seal the whole people live there that are good, whatever. And obviously, David and Gabe just left. So you have the choice here. Do I want to go with Kate and save Richmond, or do I want to chase after Gabe and David and try to get them to come back or reconcile, or whatever the plan is there. So that's kind of the first decision that's laid out. So I think we actually did different things here. So what did you do?
Yeah, so I went with Kate. So my kind of thought here was that big picture, our plan was to go back and save the city. Now we have this kind of small picture problem of the family ran off. So what do we do here? And I felt like, Gabe was Team David before this. And so I felt like, let's follow the big plan like we wanted, and, we'll catch up with them later. So that's what I chose to do. What about you?
Which I think makes a lot of sense. I ended up chasing after David and Gabe.
Okay.
My thoughts were like, I think every decision I've been able to make that prioritize like family, I think I did it. So like, even though David just like tried to beat the shit out of me, well, did beat the shit out of me, and maybe would have tried to kill me, whatever. I just couldn't leave it on those terms. Like, I'm going to go save them and hopefully talk some sense into him so that he'll come back to Richmond too. So my thought was like, two birds, one stone, reconcile with him, get him to come back and help. So it's like, because obviously David's an asset.
Right.
In like
definitely
military killing walker situations. Like, he'd be really nice to have. Mm-hmm. And for him to get him to do the right thing with Gabe. Then you throw in Gabe. Like, we've been with Gabe for, on the road for 2 years. Like, basically like a little son or, little brother, I guess, however you want to look at it. So I didn't feel right leaving them. I know Richmond's important, but like, I guess in theory, Kate could take the truck by herself, which probably wouldn't have worked out, but I don't know. It's like, let's get David first, and then we'll plug this breach up.
That makes sense. Yeah, I think that is interesting because I didn't really think about it as like a family choice, like you said. Mm-hmm. This whole time I've been picking family through this, and for some reason that didn't cross my mind when this decision came. Instead, I was like, I need to do what is right with, I guess, the family that's here. If the other part of the family wants to abandon the plan. Mm-hmm. So that was sort of my thought process. But,
which is fair. And one of my thoughts too was like, Kate's not. She's family, but she's not technically family. Like, she's just married into.
That's true. I guess she's not your brother or your.
She's not Gabe's mom, like real mom either. Not that it makes her like less valuable or something, but it's like, I don't know, and I guess it was complicated.
No, that's a good point because marriage. She was part of the Garcia family through marriage, versus Gabe and David were both born into it, and you grew up with David, being your brother and all that, and
Gabe being your nephew.
Yeah.
Before Kate came into the picture.
Yeah, so that's a good point. I think this was a really good decision. This one was hard.
Yeah, so this was split 59.6% went with Kate to save Richmond, and then 40.4% chased after David and Gabe. So yeah, good. So I guess in reality what you're choosing is family, quote unquote, Gabe, David, or saving a lot of people's lives, which, honestly, it probably makes more sense to go to Richmond. I think in reality that's maybe what I would do, but in real life. But who knows? Hopefully we'll never have to make that decision in real life.
I know, yeah. This one's tough.
Well, I don't have a brother, so I'll never have to make that decision.
This one, though, also comes with basically a second follow-up decision that's part of it, which is, does Clementine come with you?
It's not really this. I guess it's more of a build-up of decisions.
Yeah,
right?
It's sort of a reaction to your choice.
Yeah.
So, your two ways it can go is after the fight with David, Clementine can choose her own path and split up with the player, or Clementine can choose to do what Javi does.
So will she always... So, I don't know how to phrase this. So if she doesn't like Javi for some reason, will she just do the opposite no matter what you do?
Right.
Or will she just go to Richmond, even if you go to Richmond, but she's not following you? She's like, well, this is what I want to do.
No, so opposite. If you,
okay, gotcha.
If your relationship is close, she's like, I'm with Javi either way. If your relationship isn't close, then she'll choose the opposite of you. And I think her reasoning will be along either of those paths. So either I'm close with Gabe, so I'll go after him, or Richmond's important. I used to live there. There are good people there, or whatever. So This one ends up splitting. 52% of people had Clementine do her own thing. 48% of people had Clementine follow them. So what happened with Clem for you?
She followed me.
Okay.
And I assume that's due to the culmination of being Team Clem as much as I could, but also, I don't know if flashbacks had anything to do with it, because we had a few Clem flashbacks, but I feel like generally I was like pro Clementine. And there wasn't very many times they made you choose David or her family or her. I feel like there's that one time with when Mariani got shot, I'm pretty sure. So I left there, but she still went with me.
Yeah.
Maybe because every other decision it was like Team Clem.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Same thing. Team Clem for me as well, so she came with me. Back to Richmond for you, though, she followed for Gabe and David. Yep. So this leads to actually 4 different endings that can happen.
Which is crazy.
Which is cool. And so I guess we should probably talk about each of our own, and then we can talk about the other ones. So for mine, we have Javi and Clem going off together to help Kate save Richmond. And as they go off, they get there, they help Kate block the wall off. Jesus shows up. He's got some people from the kingdom, I think, with him. And they're there corralling walkers and killing them. So with Kate and you teaming up, you like block the hole like you need to. Also, she uses it's a bulldozer that you have.
Yeah.
And so she uses that to like lift you up. You like sit in the bucket or whatever, lifts you up to be able to get into the gate to like open the gate. She gets the car in, gets it in. You block the hole, and then Jesus and his people kind of corral the walkers and lead them out or kill them in there. The town is safe. It's great. So then you and Clem head off to find David and Gabe.
That's after?
Yeah. Okay. After you save them. You find the car, and it's, I think, crashed. And David is dead. He's got some sort of hole in his head. So he's not like bit by a walker or anything like that. He's just dead. Maybe he died in the accident. That's my guess.
Shot himself? I don't know.
Yeah.
I didn't see it, but there's a hole in his head.
Yeah, he's very dead.
Yeah.
So he's dead. And then you keep walking and you find Gabe, and he's been bit. And he's bit on, I think, the wrist. But had been bit for a while, so he's done. And he's on the ground in this like a little bit away in an alley, and he's crying and saying that, Javi, you were a good dad. Thanks for raising me.
Oh, fuck.
It's brutal.
Yeah.
Thanks for raising me. I'm sorry I fucked up and got bit, and you're consoling him. Then he gives his blood-soaked cards to Clementine and says, teach AJ how to play euchre. You're really great. I'm really happy I met you. And then Gabe asks you to shoot him, and you do.
Oh, that's brutal, man.
It's so brutal. I felt horrible.
Do you regret your choice?
I think it was a good ending, so no. I'm sad that David and Gabe are dead, for sure. But I thought that the ending was really good.
Yes.
And so because of that, I'm like, I feel really good about this being my like canon ending kind of thing. Of It's so fucking mean. Like seeing Gabe and earlier in the episode too, Gabe talks about how like you've been a really good dad to him. He's glad he has his dad here now. He was like, my dad before used to say shitty things about you, but they're wrong. You've been a real big role model to me and a big influence and stuff like that. So to have that happen earlier in the episode and then get this, painful.
Yeah, that's terrible.
Yeah, so super brutal, but really good ending. I think they really nailed that one.
Yep. So my ending was me and Clem went to chase down David and Gabe, and we find similar situation, car crash, whatever, but they're both still in the car at this point, and there's walkers on, like, I think around it.
Okay.
So you and Clem, like, just kill all the walkers, and then you save both of them, then you, like, interact with David, like, hey, come back to Richmond. We gotta take care of this shit. And you, like, can try to convince him. I don't know if it's possible to convince him to come back. In mine, he was like, no, I'm not coming back. But then he ends up showing up later.
Okay.
So then you get back to Richmond. I think Gabe comes with you. And you do this, the Gabe helps you get in the fucking tower to open the gate, whatever. But at this point, the bulldozer's already in there. But Kate's dead. She's a walker. And then I think you have the choice to either kill her or not, or she's already dead, but shoot her or not. And then I chose to. So in my playthrough, Kate's the one that dies, and then Gabe and David they're still alive.
Okay.
Yeah, and then eventually David shows back up at Richmond.
Was it rough seeing Walker Kate?
Yeah, kind of. I mean, it wasn't like...
Just seeing people as walkers sucks.
Yeah, it was rough because it was like, fuck, man, like... Is there an ending where everyone survives? Like, that'd be sweet. I'd want to replay it and try to get that. But I wasn't as devastated, I feel like, because your ending sounds way more like, oh, fuck, like right in the heart. Because you didn't see Kate die. It is a bummer, though, because I assume she died alone, which sucks. But, Yeah, so that made me regret a little bit, like, fuck. But either way, I think it was like my best outcome I could have gotten based on how I played the game.
Yeah.
Like pro fam. Mm-hmm. So Richmond was saved and David and Gabe survived.
Yeah.
Fortunately, Kate didn't, but 2 out of 3 is pretty solid.
That's true. Yeah, mine is much smaller.
Yeah.
So, okay, third ending. So that was 2 of them. Third ending is Javi goes after Gabe and David, while Clem goes and helps Kate with Richmond. And similar to your description of the car being surrounded, however, since only Javi is there, he's able to get Gabe's side open. David gets killed by the walkers from his side. You and Gabe escape, and you make it back to Richmond. And same thing, the bulldozer gotten inside and all of that, but Kate's just gone.
Oh, really?
So maybe she was, and probably dead. I'm guessing she was a walker, but you weren't there to shoot her like yours. So instead, that walker just went somewhere else.
Damn, that sucks.
Yeah, so saved Gabe, but you lose Kate and David. Last ending is Javi goes to help Kate save Richmond, and then Clementine goes after Gabe and David. In this one, you save Richmond with Kate, so similar to mine, where she lifts you up in there, you do it, you save it, Jesus and gang is there. Mm-hmm. Ride it out.
Jesus is in mine too.
Yeah, I think he's saving it no matter what.
Yeah, he shows up, but
either way. And then once you finish saving Richmond, Clementine shows back up with Gabe and tells you about how David had died. And then after this, after everything's like calmed down, Kate and you go visit the spot where David died and like bury his dog tags and say some kind of do a little eulogy for him in that.
You look googly.
Yeah, exactly. So this one 2 out of 3, I guess.
Yeah. So I guess that's honestly, if you're like, fuck David, I like Kate. Yeah. This is like the best ending you get.
Yeah, that's true. I bet this is your ideal one.
So you have to be not pro Clem,
but pro Kate.
Yeah.
That's probably.
And then you get what you want, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, that is interesting.
Yeah. It's weird how they don't. I guess it's not weird. It's cool how they don't give you an option that's like, well, everyone survives, and you played the game perfectly. It's kind of nice.
Yeah, that somewhere the family still suffers, like the people you're with, kind of thing. So then, after this, you pick up the next day. You get to have some conversation with your family that's alive. So for me, Kate tells Javi, I don't want to be around you anymore. I'm going to need some time, basically.
Is it because you, like, denied her?
Yeah, because I denied
continually.
her. Yeah, because I denied her. And everyone's dead in mine.
Yeah, it's fair.
So she's like, I'm going to need some time, like, not that we couldn't be friends later, but, I loved you and you didn't, and stuff. So I got to kind of sort myself out. And I'm like, I get you.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Like at this point, like, well, David's dead, so, I got nothing holding me back now,
Are you interested now?
Yeah, how you feeling now?
Yeah. Would you feel different?
Your son and your husband are dead, but I'm here,
Yeah, no, it's bad. Yeah. And so Javi's like, okay. Which, kind of thinking about it now, it's pretty sad that Javi ends up alone now based on this. I think he did the right thing, and he's maybe like a better person through this journey. But he's also...
lost everything.
Lost everyone.
Yeah, literally everyone.
In mine. So for yours, you get to talk with Gabe and David, I assume.
Yeah, so mostly Gabe.
Okay.
You, like, talk with David briefly, but he's like, I don't want to talk to you guys.
Okay.
So maybe similar, like space, whatever. But he's alive, which is cool.
Yeah.
And you and Gabe are, like, cool.
Okay.
Like, it's, yeah, you guys talk about David and, like, the town and, like, are you going to stay or not type of shit.
Okay.
Yeah, but, yeah, David's alive and he also needs space.
Okay.
But his space is more like, it feels more permanent. He's like, I don't want to talk to you guys ever again type deal. Which I don't,
Jeez.
I doubt that's, if I was in the video game world, I would assume like that's not true. But probably needs time.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. You get to talk to Jesus here, get to kind of affirm if you care about the city and you're going to stay or not. I did.
Yeah, same.
That was kind of...
At this point, like, what the fuck else would you do?
Right.
Especially in your game, like, everyone's dead that you know. Like, if you don't stay, I guess you're alone on the road.
Yeah, and that I came back for the city.
Yeah.
Like, the way I played is, like, the city needs to be the thing. So even if Kate and I aren't close right now, I came back for the city because I thought that was the right thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Versus, I feel like if you chose for family, like for yours, going after family, I could see one where you're like, me and Gabe will leave. I don't know.
Yeah.
You know, I could get that, but it makes sense to me to try to rebuild here.
Yeah, it's relatively safe. Now that there's a vehicle blocking a hole in the wall that walkers can get through, like, totally safe. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, totally safe. After kind of those conversations, Javi gives Clementine a haircut, and you're kind of talking about what she's going to do next, and you can choose to affirm her, which we did, and probably everyone did, unless you're mean, which is, you're a good mom to AJ, you know, like, he's going to be so happy to have you back, all of that stuff, and after that conversation, you end up seeing Clementine walk out of the gates, and for you, it was you and Gabe probably watched her walk away. For me, I did it by myself.
To go find AJ.
Yeah. I think, though, here, for mine, I guess, how my ending could be different is if I was with Kate the whole time, she would be here with me, and I would, you know, she wouldn't have wanted distance, she would have been.
Yeah. I would assume she would take Gabe's spot in mine, but obviously...
Yeah, it would have been like that instead, where they'd reminisce about Gabe and David instead.
I would assume.
Yeah, so heads off, Clementine's off to find AJ, Javi, and whoever is alive is at the town rebuilding, or I guess could choose to leave, but rebuilding definitely makes more sense. So that is the last episode. So finally, this leads us to general thoughts, I would say, on this episode and really this season at large, now that we've gotten to see the whole thing. One thing is that I like about this game is the ending variations. I thought they were really good, like we just described. You know, there's not a perfect one where everyone lives. Different things happen, and I thought they really did a good job there. Even hearing the different ones, like I liked hearing about yours or the other ones. Like, I think they did a good job there. But a thing that I was thinking about is if we ever did get another Javi game, you'd probably have to kill the rest of the Garcia family off. Yeah. Which unfortunately would be kind of like the start of this game, where the Jane Kenny options, where they just get shitty deaths.
Yeah, inconsequential.
Shitty deaths to get rid of them. So unfortunately, I think for a new Javi game, they'd have to do the same thing, which I don't think they'll do it, but I think Javi is a good enough character that he would deserve a standalone game after playing this. Like, I would be into more Javi for sure.
Yeah, I could also see... Well, I could see two... Other than that, probably being the most likely scenario, I could see two other options where they just make Kate staying alive being with Buchanan because they pushed that so hard the whole time. So that's one. Two, I could also see if he, like, somehow showed up in a different... Like, he was in a different... I don't know, like... no spoilers. He showed up in a different game in a different area, and he was just like, oh yeah, my family, like, depending on how you played this, maybe they ask you, like, oh, my family's all back in Richmond, or they're all dead. So they give you the option, but they don't really specify. He just says my family. So I could see that being a thing too. Like, if there was a Javi game, they just don't mention him at all, which would be also kind of weird.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. They'd have to kill them off if they'd want to be consistent going forward.
Right, because he'd have to also have a, like, even if he just said they died off screen, I guess if you jump forward in time enough and you don't see it, maybe that's better. Like, because seeing the Jane Kenny stuff suck at the beginning of this. It's stupid. It doesn't feel earned at all. But I guess if you picked up with Javi, like, 3 years later, it's like, yeah, I was at Richmond for a while with my family. When the walls went down, I lost my family there too. So now I've just been going this way for blah, blah, blah reason. Yeah. I guess that could work. Because I feel like that'd be far better than seeing Kenny's bad death or seeing Jane's stupid death. Like,
oh, gee, yeah. Killing yourself.
Well, and just that it didn't even make sense with how the last game ended. It didn't fit at all. But, I wonder if you'd have to do that. But maybe if you just had him show up forward and he just kind of describes what happens. I could see that all right, but I would be into more Javi though. I thought this was. I think he's a good character, and getting to be with him in this was pretty enjoyable actually.
Yeah, I agree. I think he was a pretty funny character, and so this kind of gets into one of my thoughts. Like, this season was definitely better than I remembered it being. I think, like you've said, we've kind of talked about all throughout, is like having a realistic expectation, knowing kind of how much Clementine was going to be involved, really made the game a lot better. And I think it made us able to focus more on like, well, what characters do we have that we are playing with? They're pretty cool. So yeah, I agree. I think the season was good. The decisions felt like we talked about the plotline with Kate. It's like, don't care, hit or miss on that for me. But I think everything else was like, I enjoyed this. I think this is probably my third favorite game after the first and fourth, and then I think second's probably my last.
Yeah,
which it's still good. But I think that definitely better than I remembered it being, which is nice. Yeah, we didn't play a game we hated, so.
That's true. Same thing. I've been really impressed. This season's pretty good, actually, and I think too, like you said, being third place, but you're against season 1 and 4. Those are pretty fucking good. Like that's not like you're the third best game, and they get worse as they go. Instead, it's like those two are really good. Being third place against them isn't bad at all. I think I would probably rate it similar. It's tough. I think that the highs of season 2 are better. Like, there's some moments in season 2 that are really great.
Like when you see Kenny again for the first time, you're like, what?
Yeah.
This dude was dead.
Or when Kenny sends you off to go to Wellington.
Yeah.
He gives you that speech, and then you choose to leave him, and he walks off.
I guess if you went that route, but
that's the best ending. For sure.
It should be canon.
Yeah, I think that if they made something canon, that one should be it, because that was great. It was so good.
Yep.
But also, as we've talked about in that season and some in this one, the lows in season 2 are probably worse than the lows here. I think a lot of the lows here had to do with either the Kate romance issue we've discussed, or just the Clementine expectations. I think those are the main problems in this season that I felt. And we knew about the Clementine one, so I think that really made for this being enjoyable. And so, is A New Frontier better than season 2? It might be. Or do I like it more? I guess, I don't know. Someone else can discuss if things are better or not. But I think in terms of what we like more, I might like this more. It has me wondering. I've heard that the Michonne game isn't that good. And I've seen people kind of go, season 2 is third place, then New Frontier, and then Michonne. And I wonder if New Frontier and Michonne get maybe more hate than they deserve.
Yeah.
I don't know. So I'll be curious. I feel like we'll probably have to cover that on the podcast someday to find out. Because with our Telltale collections we do have it. So we don't even have to go get it.
Yeah,
we already have
it's
it.
The last one. Well, I guess we have other Telltale games we could play, but that's probably the one I'd want to play next if we do one.
Yeah, that's the last
Walking Dead.
The only one we haven't
covered
played.
The other ones, yeah.
Yeah, we haven't played. But it makes me wonder if that would be better, if that's not as bad. Because I think, too, if whether you choose this one or Season 2 is the worst one, it's still pretty solid games. I've definitely played games I like less than either of these.
Choices are good. There's definitely, your ending sounds pretty emotional. They still hit you in the feels.
Yeah, and I wasn't even I love Gabe. I was I like Gabe all right. He's okay. Solid guy. And then his death, it was oof, this fucking hurts. So
yeah,
good job by them. So yeah, I think I might be with you.
Yeah,
this one might be above season 2 for me for favorites.
Yeah. I really liked the choice at the end, because the last choice were go after Dave and Gabe, or save Richmond. I liked that choice because I was Team David all the way, brotherly love. I made promises, whatever, and also Gabe was with him. But then you throw in there's this town that's getting obliterated. That's kind of our fault. That was a really hard choice. I was thinking back. I think I'm forgetting a lot of the big choices, but this might have been one of the better, bigger choices in any of the Walking Dead games we played, from what I can remember at least. Obviously, you have the choice of do you Kenny or Jane? What do you do with there? Do you stay with Kenny or Jane? Whatever. Those are pretty big choices. you have ones from the beginning, like, do you shoot Lee or do you let him turn? Like, it's pretty rough. Not as consequential necessarily, but still, like, really, really shitty. But I feel like this is top 4, you know? Top 5, maybe. Again, I'm probably forgetting choices, but it was pretty good. So I think it was a pretty hard decision for me to make, even though the whole time I was like, go Dave, go Gabe, my guys.
Yeah, I think you feel the danger a lot in this one. I was thinking, I guess that when Kenny and Jane are fighting, you can choose to kill one of them. Or, well, you can choose to kill Kenny or let him kill Jane.
Yeah.
And that one, I guess you have a sense of danger like this one had. Because this one, right, with some of the other ones, they're maybe more emotional or is this right or wrong? But then this one also has that action package of, like, there's a town that's waiting on us.
Yeah.
People will die if we don't go. Or, as I found out, that David and Gabe can die if you don't follow them. Which I didn't really think about them dying at the time. Like, I thought they would be fine. Maybe we just wouldn't know where they are.
Yeah.
Like, I thought at worst I wouldn't find them. I didn't think I would find them dead.
Yeah.
So.
Would that change how you... Like, if you knew that going into the decision, like, they could die, do you think you would change what you did?
Ooh. If I thought they could die and I was thinking about family, I might do what you did. But I think my mind was... I didn't think Kate would die either for, like, yours, in your case. I didn't think that people would get lost. I think more I was just like, they know the big plan, we got to do the big plan. Maybe they'll come around and, like, we'll meet them there doing the right thing too or something. You know?
It would have been a nice happy ending.
Yeah, or we find them and find out that, you know, they went over here and, you know, they're surrounded on some building and you save them. Or I don't know.
Yeah.
You know? So, I agree, though. I think that decision is one of the better ones. And there have been a few. I mean, I can't remember them all offhand either, but I feel like if I went through and looked at all the decisions in all of the games, this game, through its 5 episodes, would have several that would be probably in the top 10, like, including that one. Like, I think that they did a pretty good job with some of the decisions here. Like all Telltale games, there were some that didn't work, but but there's always some that really worked, and this one had several, including that one. So
yeah. I you had mentioned this, but I think the endings were good. I think they were, in their own ways, like gut punches, but also like kind of happy. Unless you have the ending where no one's alive. But, you know, whatever. Yeah, so I like that too. The ending variations are really cool. Lastly, I guess, like, typical Telltale fashion, like, you can be Team David the whole time and he still fucking hates you at the end. It's like, alright, that's cool.
Yeah.
Which, you know, I guess could happen in real life. Especially if he thought that you were loving or into his or banging his wife while he thought he was dead. Like, it'd be pretty rough.
Yeah. I can see David being in that situation. Like, him choosing not to talk to you guys anymore and stuff like that. Like, I can kind of see that. And him probably being kind of broken. You know, like, I imagine he's pretty broken at that spot.
Yeah, his wife died, town's fucked up, kind of his fault. He was betrayed by everyone.
He did the wrong choice.
Yep.
Because them running off was the wrong choice.
Yeah, they could have come back and maybe no one would have died. You know? Well,
yeah.
I mean, just out of Kate, him and Gabe.
Yeah, or even, like, made the town less bad. Like, he could have still been a leader in that town.
Yep.
And not that he couldn't still get there, I guess, in yours, but, like, it doesn't seem like his mindset would be that way anymore.
It'd be kind of hard to be like, dude, you fucking abandoned us. Like,
right.
Especially as Javi. Because you can kind of choose, like, do I want to step up here and try to lead this community, or do I want to just be a guy or leave? But yeah, it'd be hard if you were leading the community to be like, all right, I trust David again. Like,
right, when he's...
Maybe not.
Yeah, when he's been ready to bail so frequently.
And just fucking loose cannon, you know. Kind of crazy. But,
yeah,
whatever.
Yeah, tough for sure. One thing I have that's not a general thought, but is just kind of interesting, is Conrad can actually survive the whole game.
That's funny.
Which is weird.
He didn't survive in mine.
Yeah, we killed him, like, in episode 2 or something. But he actually can be alive here. I think at the end, when you're, like, clearing the town out, with Jesus and all that, he can be there, and you can, like, talk to him for a minute. At the end, like, after talking to... I talk to Kate or you talk to David, you know, all of that. Like, in that time, you can talk with him if he's alive. So it's kind of crazy that he...
They just threw in this random guy that can make it.
Yeah, you know, normally, a lot of times, it seems as in Telltale games, a lot of times, if someone has an option to die, they will die somewhere else, like Ava Tripp.
Yep.
They don't get to live. They either died at the end of last episode or at the beginning of this one. Like, that's how it goes.
It's true.
So it's kind of interesting that Conrad could keep going. And I think that's because his character is super periphery. So that's why, and it probably doesn't cost a lot of money to animate and voice act like his little spot scenes. But it's just interesting that he could potentially have been dead a long time in this game, like for us. Or he could
die like there's other points he could die too, right?
I think
every episode.
Yeah, I think each episode he has a chance to die.
That's crazy.
Kind of thing. So
I wonder if that's like an Easter egg or like a trophy if you get him to the end or something and he like survives and
maybe
you get some
or have him die at each sequence.
Yeah.
I could see something like that even.
Yeah.
No, yeah, it's kind of interesting though. Like just as a thing. I don't know.
Yeah, I guess it's kind of cool in some ways because you think about like, you know, a side character that's not that important. Theoretically, you know, would survive. Like, they're not making the big decisions. They're just kind of doing stuff and surviving. Like, there's a lot of guys like him that would actually survive in lots of scenarios, but they just don't because, money or, you know, it doesn't, I don't know, fit in the plot. Shit like that.
Right. Yeah. So, I don't know. I thought that was kind of interesting.
Yeah, it's kind of funny.
Yeah, of a thing. But, that's a new frontier. All in all, we have some listener feedback, though, to wrap up on. And I think these are mostly in the context of the season overall. Zach on Twitter wrote in and said, freaking amazing game. Love everything about it. Great story, too. 2 sad endings, which are probably both of ours as the 2 sad ones, because I think Walker Kate is sad, and for mine, Gabe and David both dying is sad.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the 2 being referred to.
Chris on Twitter said, least favorite in the Clementine saga. So that's probably a common thought.
Yeah.
Or feeling.
Yeah, for sure. Joel on Twitter said, worst of the best is still pretty damn good. All the new characters are enjoyable and Clem's part in the story is good. The bottom of my Walking Dead list, but I still love it. And I think that's pretty fair. And something we even mentioned in there of like, I don't think season 2 is in any manner bad, even if it is below this now for me.
Yeah, it's gotta be just preference at this point. Like, I think they're both good.
I think they both have really good things about them and some problems for each. But, I agree. And I think this franchise, even getting to look at it as a whole now, is with that expectation, these 4 seasons they hold it down. That's pretty good. That they've taken this story through all that. So good job on them.
Yep. Bubbles on Twitter said, good game, but I don't like that we got a new group without much context in the first episode. Good characters, just not my cup of tea. But that's super fair too. I feel like it is kind of random. They were like, oh yeah, here's new people plus kind of Clementine. Like why not just do your own thing? Yeah. Make it something totally like a spin-off, you know?
Yeah.
An actual spin-off.
Yeah.
But I liked it regardless. Good game. I agree.
I wonder if they are like we were when we played it the first time.
Yeah.
I bet that's exactly what I would say.
Yeah.
Before we replayed this. I would say this, actually. If for some reason you're listening and you've only played this once, I would go play it again. I think that with those expectations, your experience might be more like ours, where you might enjoy it more the second time through. And I'm not normally one who replays games. I mean, I was going to replay this for the podcast, and I didn't go in expecting to like it. I thought it would be like, it'll be all right. I was like, maybe there'll be a few things I like more than I did before, but I ended up liking it a lot more than I thought.
Yep, same.
So, I don't know. Maybe that would happen for you, knowing what you know about Clementine. Daniel on Twitter said, I think everyone should give this a shot. Oh, there we go. That's funny. Stole Daniel's thunder by accident. Javi and Kate are very capable of leading the story, and I was glad to play through it. I think so. They held it down, and I think Kate was a lot of a co-lead, as he mentions. She was a part of a lot of big things that happened through this, and you made a lot of decisions with her.
Yep.
Through it. So.
Yep, I agree. Mike on Twitter said, I thought it was a great game. It's too bad the crowd play isn't active anymore. That could have been a really fun way to run through the game. Plus, it was a great way to get an outsider's perspective on Clem and the person she had become. Also, you gotta love Jesus. Yeah, I mean, we've talked about Jesus, kind of like random. They just kind of threw him in, but I like seeing Jesus.
Yeah. It's fun to see him all in all. I wonder if this crowd perspective thing is like a way you can vote on decisions or something. I wonder if that's how that works.
Ah, that'd be cool.
Maybe,
like on Twitch or something?
Yeah, I wonder if there's like
that's pretty cool.
Maybe that's what it is.
Interesting.
Which I guess I could see that if you
Yeah.
were streaming this and then it gave you like a code like Jackbox or something and you could vote on decisions.
Yeah, that'd be really cool.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
I would love to
that would be a good way
check
to
something out like that, yeah.
Yeah.
I'll look at that later.
Last up, we've got Callum on Twitter said, I enjoyed this game, but I feel like it shouldn't be part of the Clementine saga, rather a side game like the Michonne game, focused on the Garcia family. If this were the case, then maybe they could have a game between Season 2 and the final season, which fleshed out the consequences from Seasons 2 ending and focused more on Clementine's quest to find AJ. That being said, I still do really like the game and think it deserves more, that it definitely deserves credit for the story it told. Yeah. I think that that's pretty fair. I think that if I could choose what Callum's describing, I would as well. That if there was a different Season 3 that was in between that just took from, where Season 2 ends and where Season 4 starts, and that's Clementine's story instead, and this game is more of its own thing without Clementine, I would be into that as well. So
me too.
I think that would be good. I think for what we got, I'm reasonably happy and like it more, like we've been saying. But I do think that would probably be smoother, of making Clementine's story more there. Because this one was more, like we've said, Javi and the Garcia family story featuring Clementine.
Yep.
So it's not quite a Clementine story.
Yep.
Although we get information on her, I think I would have preferred something in the middle as well.
Yep. I agree.
Cool. Well, that's a new frontier. Well, we've done it. We've made it through. Now all 4 seasons of The Walking Dead are out there and available to go through the entire Clementine saga, which is pretty cool. I'm glad we've gotten to play through them all on the podcast, and several of them more than once. I guess one through this one we've played more than once.
Yep.
Because we've played on our own. But cool to have gotten to do that. Maybe Michonne will be in the future someday.
Yeah.
To close the Telltale Walking Dead loop. But yeah, that is our episode. If you'd like to talk to us about Walking Dead or anything else, you can email us at TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed.com. Our website's TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed.com. There we've got all our episodes, including all the Walking Dead ones. Our Twitter is at StoryEverPod if you want to chat there. We have a Patreon at patreon.com/TheGreatestStoryEverPlayed. And for as little as $1 per month, that will get you access to bonus episodes that we've done about things like we ranked our favorite Walking Dead characters from Telltale. We rank the Life is Strange episodes, talk about The Mandalorian, stuff like that. So go check that out if that interests you. And we'll see you next time.
See ya.